Hello, everyone. It's time to explore the West Guard in this episode of Tunic. So we have a bit of a chunky part because we have our first boss fight, I believe.
Oh, I can actually, I'm just noticing now he has the little hourglass on his belt because it's equipped to him. I love
No, that's his lantern, actually.
Oh, that's a lantern. Oh, well, it's same thing. Yes. I love when the stuff that you find is reflected in. Keep an eye on your bars. Okay.
Chompignom.
I do like that the more stuff you find, the more the manual starts being in English. Like, that's really cool, too.
The only game where translating the manual is a feature, not a bug.
Well, if you were unlucky, the manual that you got with the game would sometimes be inaccurate for a number of reasons. One
of the main reasons for that is that the manual was often produced before the game was finished, and
Yes.
It would take them far too long to produce another manual, and they would have to manufacture it again. So, you were often stuck with outdated information.
Yeah, so some manuals will
Then they shrug and go, whoopsie.
They'll reference systems that have changed drastically, or just straight up tell you false things.
I brought up Daggerfall's climbing system and the stuff they had planned for it while they were writing the manual that didn't make it into the game until fans re-added it later. But
Wait, are you supposed to smash the little dolls of yourself for money?
Yes.
Yeah.
If I found a doll of myself, I'd be disturbed enough to smash it. So
I don't know.
I was distressed because I thought it was cute, and I was like, "Oh, it's a hat. I'm gonna wear it."
That's what I thought when I saw it,
and I sobbed a little bit.
But I need the money.
So, are you supposed to hoard them? Because I saw that the amount of money you got doubled each time.
That is entirely based on how many you've actually used. It's not about in a row.
Oh, okay. So the next one will be double of the last one you did, no matter what. Okay.
Yes.
Excellent.
Well, that's a neat system. It's an interesting way to solve in an open world game like this. An issue you might have is you want to have stuff for people to find everywhere in the map, but you also don't want to have something too good too early so that somebody finds it and then they can afford every item in every shop.
Yeah.
So that's a solution I don't know if I would have been able to come up with on my own. Oh, damn. You weren't kidding about this game, though. Like, everything hits like a truck in this.
Yes.
I was low on stamina, so...
These things suck so bad.
At least until you get the fire rod.
This game does the thing where low stamina means everything goes worse for you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why they said everything hurts more when I'm tired.
Everything hurts more, and your iframes disappear.
Speaking of Elder Scrolls, Jesus. Whenever you're low on stamina in those games, everything sucks. Don't try to be a mage on low stamina. It just won't work. And I mean straight up, your spells will just fail. So I like the two-legged crocodile head monsters. That's an interesting design, that is.
Yeah, honestly, I like the original enemies in this game a lot. The ones that are clearly meant to be more like the old Zelda enemies, I guess I'm a little bit more indifferent to. But there is some definitely very creative enemy design for the other enemies as well.
Well, I mean, the game is definitely designed to evoke a certain feeling in people who are familiar with Zelda, in the sense that it's a tribute more than a ripoff. But the farther you get in, the more original stuff you start to see. It seems like.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's kind of like it starts off Super Zelda to familiarize yourself with literally everything else that's different about it. Because when I started playing the game and I was only a few minutes in, I was like, oh, this is literally just going to be Fox Zelda, and I kind of got settled into that mindset for a hot minute. until I started hitting, things that hit like a truck TM, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be hard.
Well, there is a reason to start with familiar ideas and tropes, and that's that. And this is going to sound uncharitable, but people in general gravitate towards stuff they're familiar with and don't like to experiment. And this is
that's fair.
This is surprisingly extra true of gamers who absolutely do not jive with unfamiliar ideas on contact most of the time.
It's honestly very funny because a lot of times people will be like, "Oh man, I want something. This game's just the same as the last one." But if they did change something, they'd be like, "How could they change XYZ?" Because again, gamers do be the way they are. But yeah, it is just definitely interesting how you're right in that the game kind of starts off Zelda-like to get people into the idea of it, but in terms of gameplay, the only Zelda that seems as brutal with the combat is the first one, or I guess Zelda 2, but Zelda 2 is also doesn't seem to be what they're going for with this at all. And even then, Zelda 1's combat was unforgiving in the sense that it was bad and sucked. So,
okay. So what's this thing do?
It's the ice dagger. It shoots out a blast of ice that freezes enemies.
Ah,
and
nice.
It looks like you
this
can
was
do
my
it
go-to.
3 times.
This was it.
So does that thing recharge every time you hit a save point?
Yes.
Okay. Use it or lose it then.
Yeah, it's like do the fire bombs recharge too, or do you have to find more?
You have to find more.
You have to buy them.
Anything that is a consumable will have to be bought or found.
Okay.
The number that is next to the dagger is also related to your mana, so it's just telling you that you can use it 3 times with this amount of mana.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So once you get more mana, then the number will go up for the dagger. Okay.
Yes.
I see.
Okay.
Wait, so does it actually use up your mana, or does your mana just determine how many times you use it?
It uses it up.
Oh, okay.
And just for the sake of explaining what happened there, the pattern on the ground is related to the movements that you make with your controller.
Okay.
So that's like a little secret. You use the directional pad to go in the direction that is indicated on the floor. It's not just a pattern, and that's what spawned the chest.
Yeah, you use what's called the Holy Cross, aka the D-pad.
This is going to be a useless tangent, but I've learned to frickin' hate trophy pop-ups in games to the point where even when I'm actually trophy hunting, I will straight up turn them off.
This is something as a Nintendo gamer, I've been fairly free of. I mean, granted, there is the dopamine rush of, ooh, I unlocked the thing. But depending on the kind of game you're playing, it can definitely interrupt the vibe.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Well, I'm fine having games that just have their own internal achievement system, but that's because usually the achievements or milestones pop up within the game's UI and merge with the rest of it. Trophy pop-ups.
You're talking about like Steam and and PlayStation awards or whatever.
Yeah, it's just like, you get a system UI pop-up that's not part of the game, and it's always in the same place. And in this case, it covers part of the UI.
Yeah, no, that's valid.
So my favorite example of that is the Deadpool game that came out I think 2010 or 11.
Oh,
give
yeah.
or take. One of the early jokes in that game is you start the game in Deadpool's apartment and you get a bunch of achievements for doing nothing. So on the Xbox, they'll just pop up over and over, really quickly, rapid fire. When they ported it to, I think it's Steam. Steam has more latency when the when the achievements will pop up. So they'll be out not in sync with the joke that's happening in the game. It's just like it goes from being a kind of a clever play on how annoying that can be to now the joke just straight up doesn't work because they didn't bother to change the the timing on the scene for it. So
well, I don't think they really could have for Steam, because I think Steam is designed to actually wait a while before another pop-up.
Yeah, they would have had to. They would have had to do some sort of programming, like I don't know, like change the trigger so that the achievement trigger happens earlier or something. I'm not sure. Maybe it's fixed now because I believe that game got re-released once Disney bought Marvel, or when the Marvel licenses left certain things. I don't know. The Marvel video games are in such a weird copyright place now that Disney owns them, and what games are going to release and which games aren't is often in a gray area. But I believe the Deadpool game got re-released at least one time. So maybe they fixed it. I don't know. But this is just something I remember watching a Let's Play of it on YouTube, and they were playing the Steam version. It's like, oh, this joke doesn't work anymore.
I think my favorite is in Portal 2 when it's the part that he kills you, and they do that like 5 times, and then the last one is the Xbox PlayStation achievement of just the part where he kills you.
Yeah, no, that one's also really good.
But to go back to the game a little bit, I remember, Masae, when you were playing the game, you had to fight that boss on all level 1s for everything.
Yeah.
Oh, because you didn't know how to power up your stuff.
I didn't know that there were upgrades, and I went through this entire first section of the game on bare minimum everything. I didn't even have the shield, so I beat that boss essentially hard moding by accident.
Oh, that just means you're good at video games, though.
No, it took me a long time. It just means I'm stubborn at video games, that's all.
I'm late noticing this, but I really like the smoothness on the animation in Tunic's sword. Is he named Tunic? Is she named Tunic? Is it a he or a she?
We don't know, and I don't think they have a name.
I don't think they ever really clarify.
Yeah, I just realized that. I'm assuming he because Link, but I actually can't tell because Link is a fox in this game.
I think in similar fashion to early Zelda, it's just supposed to be an avatar of you. I think that's more the intention. Maybe ? I have no idea.
When do we get to play the prequel Runic?
Why are we? Oh, is this
the pattern on the wall?
I never found this one. Oh, that's clever.
So wait, how are I'm not sure I see how you're supposed to...
It's the pattern on the wall, so it's up, right, up,
it's
left.
It's the line in the moss.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll have to, next time you do one of those, where I assume that you'll actually be pressing something on the D-pad and not just staring into space.
Yes.
Yeah, for a second I was like, wait, did you step away and forget to edit? But no.
Do you ever learn to jump in this game? Because
you get a dash, so you
wait,
can get that.
Is this another case of that?
Yes.
Okay, so is it like the blue things?
There are far more cryptic puzzles than just something on the floor or wall. It's a little weird in that regard. I forget what the actual thing is. I had a notepad open with all the solutions ready to go, so...
Yeah, if you're going through this blind, you're likely only going to find out about that mechanic way later in the game. It's in one of the pages, one of the last pages in the little booklet. And they're
okay.
the Holy Cross! And then you kind of you ping on that, and it's oh, all those things I walked past, I can do things with them. So, in the second half of the game, you're supposed to, remember all of these little things around the world that might have been directions and go back and find them.
This is a puzzle here, so...
Yeah, it's the flowers, right? But I'm trying to see how that would correspond to button presses.
So you start at the pink flower, and then the white flower that's, second nearest to the bridge is up. And then the only flower from there that connects to it is the one on the far right, and then down, and then left, and then down, and then left.
Okay.
So it's just what does the flower connect to?
Okay, so like, but while you're pressing the D-pad, is there like any indication that you're on the right track or
Nope.
No. Nope. And that sucks later.
You know what this reminds me of in a weird way? The spells in Symphony of the Night, where you kind of have to buy them to know the button inputs, but if you know the button inputs, you can just use them from the start of the game.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never played Symphony of the Night, so I'm not familiar, but it from what you just described, that is pretty much exactly what this is.
Yeah. I mean, this is also kind of... Oh, so this one makes... Okay, because you, like, start on the bottom left, and then you go right, up, left, up, right, up. Okay, yeah.
And the horizontal line means that you press it again.
Riveting
up,
gameplay. I saw that
cut,
jump
Ryan.
cut.
I think it took me a few tries to get it right.
Okay.
What the?
Oh!
Secret tunnel! Secret tunnel!
This game does some trippy stuff with the camera. I really like it. Like, this game does more with the 3D perspective than Super Mario 3D Land ever did.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, Super Mario 3D Land was like, hey, do you like optical illusions? And Tunic's like, hey, bro, hold my beer.
This is me making a note because this is a puzzle in and of itself.
Oh.
The puzzles get extremely cryptic in this game.
Honestly, as long as you know that you're playing that kind of game and you're like down for it, the kind of game that makes you bring out a piece of paper and and make you take notes can be very engaging. I should stress.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I just want to stress the game that makes you want to take out a piece of paper and start taking down notes, not the games where you feel like, oh god, I gotta write this down or I won't remember it.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're playing it on, though, you don't even need to take notes anymore because you can just hit the screenshot button.
Oh yeah, that's true. I like having the piece of paper just so that I don't have to flip through the menu, and so that I can I just have something that I can quickly reference to without having to close out of the game. But yes, no, I do screenshot stuff all the time as well.
There were certain puzzles in this game that really lent itself well to taking screenshots, or I took pictures with my phone actually for separate screen purposes. But some of it really lends itself well to writing it down, and others are just like, let me take a screenshot. But I think the thing that I really, really jived with in Tunic is that it kind of took me back to older games where you would always like have a piece of paper and always be taking notes, because that feels like something of a bygone era of just, you know, having to jot things down and not have an immediate resource that you can just, you know, get handheld through. It kind of just reminds me of that feeling that I had when I was younger.
It depends on what platform you were playing on in the old days, to be honest, because like, yeah, on consoles you would probably have to write it down on a notebook. If you were on a PC, though, there was a solid chance that the game would have an in-game note-taking method. Like Baldur's Gate has a journal that you can type your own entries into. Ultima Underworld.
Wait, does it?
Yes, it does.
Wait, no, really? I'm like, oh no.
You can Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I don't think it's in 3.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, like, yeah.
I was about to say,
it's like I have to clarify that now. Now that's just wild to me that there's a new Baldur's Gate game that has different stuff going on. But yeah, in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, you have your own journal. In Ultima Underworld, you could just in Ultima Underworld and Elder Scrolls 1 and Elder Scrolls 2, although it's a bit harder to figure out there, you can just place notes on the map. As in, type them in with your keyboard to remember where specific things. What the fuck?
You're changing your color. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the cosmetic room. It's very hidden, but it's very fun.
I never found this. This is super cute. What the heck?
Yeah, you can change your tunic color. You can change your fox color.
Oh, I love that. Oh, and the bell redoes it.
The different the different things. Oh, this is neat.
Oh, and that's the shield. Okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
This is actually so cute. What?
What does that one change?
I forget.
And then it zooms in so you can take pictures. Oh, that's amazing. I love stuff like this in games.
I wish it wasn't quite so hidden, but it is what it is.
Well, sometimes it's more fun when it's hidden like that. I remember as a kid in the original Paper Mario finding the hidden thing that turns you into the 8-bit Mario Easter egg. Like, I remember finding that and being like blown away by that sort of thing. I think that if you wanted, that kind of feeling, having it be pretty hidden is a good thing. I think the difference here is that it's so much more granular and in-depth than most things like this. Normally it would be like, oh, you change your color or you find a cute little animation or whatnot. Here it's like, no, you can change everything if you want to. Well,
here's the thing. The fact that it's hidden in this game kind of appeals to most of the sort of people who would like this game in the first place. Because, if you're out for, games that do things in just the familiar way, you're probably not playing an isometric game made by an indie studio in a low poly stylized aesthetic style about a fox doing Zelda things in a Souls-like mode. That's just the kind of that's just the kind of game that appeals more to people who like experimenting and discovering things. So I think like putting the cosmetic extras in a room that you have to figure out on your own and might not figure out on your first playthrough is, on brand.
What do the gold chests do? Because I've noticed that most of them just do a little light. Oh, they do this, I'm assuming.
Getting Souls Return 6. So you need to get enough fairies to unlock the manual page.
Oh, okay.
I think it's 10 or 15.
Okay, and you get the good ending if you fill the whole manual.
Yeah.
Manual, yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, you get the bad ending, which is a little frustrating because some people are just not going to be able to do it. They're just going to have to look things up.
I just realized that we're playing a Zelda 1-like indie title where your goal is to find the manual that no games ever come with anymore.
Oh, okay, I get this puzzle now. You have to like kind of splice the two
halves together.
This took me forever. This was so frustrating.
It would be easier if the perspective was the same on each side, but you could more mentally just put the two halves together.
I like how they put a golden chest right next to that thing so you know what the fuck you're supposed to do with it.
How bad is the bad ending, though, is the thing?
It's fairly bad.
Oh, okay. Because there's a difference between, get the good ending and where it's like, oh, the ending you get is just perfectly good enough. And like...
No, it's definitely one of those that you got the bad ending.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to ask for a little bit more clarification. Is this one of those, like, it's a satisfying ending even though it's sad? Or it's like, no, you fucked up. Get the good ending now.
No, you fucked up. Do the good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good to know. Because, like, there are some endings where it's like, if you're playing the new Ghosts and Goblins, not the old Ghosts and Goblins. If you're playing the new Ghosts and Goblins and you beat the game, you save the princess and you beat the game, and then they show you the second half of the game. It's like, okay, I beat the game, but I can keep playing if I want to and get the good ending. Versus, like, the old games, it's like, oh, no, you were found in a trap divided by Satan. And then you have to get the good ending. Idiot. Are you just supposed to match the rotation of the cube?
Yes.
Okay.
That one's fairly straightforward.
Well, it's straightforward once you realize that you can do it. I would imagine the game's pacing is maybe a little bit better when you realize that you can get these as you go versus figuring out this is a mechanic late into the game.
Running around from one puzzle to another, doing them all at once.
Well, it would be a bunch of backtracking is the other thing, though. If they're hidden throughout, it looks like they're hidden throughout the entirety.
I think it's not like too bad personally, but that's also me not caring about 100%ing. I just wanted the good ending.
Yeah.
It like you do figure it out later, but the amount that you have to find isn't everything. There are like a lot of them in the game, but you only need like, how much was it?
It's 10 or 15 for the fairies.
Yeah, 10 or 15 total, and I think there's 30 in the game, question mark.
Oh,
so
out of everything. Okay.
Yeah, so you don't have to 100% the game to get the good ending. You just have to get like some percentage of it.
There are also a bunch of gold treasures that you can find that are just for bragging rights. They don't actually do anything.
Yeah.
So if you find all of the souls, then you don't get anything extra?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just for your own exploration and satisfaction.
Okay, so what exactly are we following with our eyes this time?
Is it the marking on the path?
I think I was looking something up actually there.
Oh, okay. Every time you stop and stare into the abyss, I'm just like, okay, he's doing another puzzle.
Yeah, I was also like, I don't remember something being here. Am I missing something?
But we rang the 2 bells so we can open this door again.
So it looks like if you're just running to the end, the game's not that long.
No.
No, not really. See, obviously there's another pattern here on the floor. Ultimately, if you don't care about the ending, yeah, you can just kind of brute force your way to the end, and then just kind of that's it. As mentioned, this is only 13 parts, so obviously some parts are going to be fairly chunky just to kind of get the ball rolling on some things. It's not too long. It's obviously long when you don't know what you're doing.
That was...
I think a lot of the length of this game is just on your first playthrough and you're playing it blind. But otherwise, like, you can speed through it pretty quick.
This is where you learn to
I
pray.
forget how long the speed run is for this game, but I think it's also pretty quick because you can beeline pretty quick from the start.
That depends if it's glitchless or not. Because there are a lot of glitches that the developers knew about and kept into the game specifically for speedrunners. Like there's a hidden door in the West Gardens that has another sword in it.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It's like, here, take this, you speedrunner.
Yeah, that's specifically for speedrunners because if you already have the sword from the hero's grave, you can just, it says already have one.
Yeah.
So wait, so like they were testing and someone glitched into the room there and they were like, cool, let's put a sword in there? Okay.
Yeah. And now we have the fire rod. We have a projectile now.
Oh wait, no, that's a thing. That's definitely a thing. Hold on. No, Ryan, go back.
No, that's not a thing. That's a hint for a different puzzle.
Oh, okay. Because like I thought that the etching on the gold, who's it, would have definitely been one.
Sadly not.
I notice you don't use the magic like at all. Is that just because you don't? You're being stingy with it, or do you
I'm being stingy. I'm being stingy with it.
Okay. That is a gaming habit that I've tried my best to like get myself out of, is being too conservative with my items. Cause
same, me too.
I've actually learned that the Atelier series is really good for that because well, this is like, okay, you make 3 bottles of God's miracle drug, right? And like you don't want to use it because yeah, you can register it and buy it back, but it costs like 1,000 coal, and you don't want to spend all that money. No, you need God's miracle drug if you're going to beat that boss. It's just not going to happen without it. You got to get used to using your alchemy items in those games.
The game that taught me it was Shin Megami Tensei 4, because most of the items have a very limited inventory. Like, you can hold 99 of the worst healing item, but only like 5 of the best. So I realized it's like, oh, I find these pretty regularly. If I'm not using them, I'm...
The memo page. Wonderful.
Okay, it's only 10 fairies you need.
Okay, you see, we were talking about taking notes, and I was going to mention, like, that's why they have the notes section in I think that's a joke in one of the Donkey Kong Country manuals. I forget which one, but Cranky Kong mentions, why do we even have these pages? Nobody uses them.
Well, nobody wants to use the memo page in their manual because you only have one memo page in your manual, and, you know, there's not enough room to, like, take a bunch of notes. So
yeah,
I
would just get like a school notebook or something.
Yeah,
like
you're gonna use a notebook because there's more room.
I also just didn't want to screw up the pages.
Oh yeah,
I was like, I'm gonna make so many mistakes.
The only thing that I ever used the memo page in my manuals for was cheat codes because I only need like a few lines for those. And having them on hand in the manual was actually pretty useful.
That's actually a fair point.
You see, I played so much. Like I started gaming like 5 or so years after you and Ryan did, and it's just like even in that time cheat codes became so much less common. It's actually funny. It's to the point where my mom said, "Oh, I was watching gameplay of something on the TV."
The fuck?
And my mom walked by. It's like, "Oh, you're watching cheat codes," and I'm like, "No, I'm just watching a playthrough." And it's just like, "Yeah, isn't that cheat codes?" And I'm like, "No, a cheat code is when you put in a code into the game and it literally cheats for you." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't know that." And I'm like, "Okay, Mom."
Whenever I think of cheat codes, I just automatically think of the mother load in Sims. That's immediately where my brain goes to.
Are we suddenly playing Journey?
Kinda.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. This is very Journey, yeah.
Welcome to the hardest puzzle in the game, because this monolith here is a clue for something else. And you have to go around the world and piece together broken pieces of a monolith. And that is a code. So you have to basically draw it. Luckily, I have a notepad open with the solution, so we'll get to it eventually.
Oh man, this is actually kind of hurting my eyes. For some reason, the Mount Gagazet theme just started playing in my head.
So is there really only like 2 major areas in the game, like this mountain area?
There's 4.
There's 4? Okay.
We haven't gotten there yet, because you do need to do other stuff to actually beat the game. I'm just doing this just to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's another fairy saved. Huzzah.
Huzzah.
But we have enough money, so let's go get our next health potion. 1,000 thingies.
So much money.
Yep, so much money, but now it's a chunker of a part. We'll go to the next area in the next part of Tunic. So see you guys all later. Bye.